Everybody, welcome to the virtual National Honor Society Interest Meeting. We're all super excited that you guys are watching this video, and under normal circumstances, we would be having this meeting in real life at school, but unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, we have to have this meeting virtually. We still want to thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video, and we hope that this is an opportunity for us to just talk about the application process and answer any questions that you guys have about NHS in general. So hi, my name's Tanusha, and I'm the current president of NHS. My main roles in the society are to organize meetings, oversee all society events and activities, plan and run either WorldFest or induction, and act as a primary source of communication with outside organizations. I also help communicate with the advisors, and our two amazing advisors are Mr. Riddler and Mrs. Holzman. They're truly the backbone of the society, and they do all the behind-the-scenes work, truly help us plan meetings, take care of the application process, and help with WorldFest and everything in between. So we're really thankful that we have them.
Hello, I'm Lauren Scott. I'm going to be the Vice President of NHS next year, and my role is to help Tanusha with anything she needs, take a leadership role in planning either induction or WorldFest, and help oversee the society as a whole. So I can't wait to meet you guys.
Hi, my name is Liz Stroud and I'm the secretary, and in that role I email the whole society and I write the meeting minutes, and I also help the other board members.
Hi everyone, I'm Carter, the NHS webmaster, and it's my job to maintain the NHS websites and make sure they're all up to date and functional.
Hello, my name is Chris Ledard and I am your NHS parliamentarian. So my job is to basically keep track of the bylaws, which are the rules governing the operations of the society, and making sure that we are also following parliamentary procedure, which is a set of rules that govern meetings and operations to make sure that everybody is included and their voices are heard.
Hey everyone, my name's Anna Cunningham and I'm your NHS historian. The historian is primarily in charge of overseeing all the society events. That includes contacting event managers, who are the people that work with outside nonprofits where we do our events. I'm also in charge of overseeing your credits, so that means making sure your portal account matches up with what you've actually done, that you've been keeping track with all your credits, that you're fulfilling events, that kind of thing. So if you have any questions about your credits, or if you've met the requirement, or if you need to know what the requirement is, I'm the person you'd like to ask.
Hi everyone, my name is Sakshi Gulab and I'm one of the member-at-larges this year. My position was appointed from the past executive board, and as member-at-large, I help to maintain the NPCs as well as help the executive board wherever needed.
Hi everyone, my name's Caitlin McNeil and I am one of the two NHS members-at-large. So as a member-at-large, I is an appointed position, appointed by the previous year's board as well as the advisors. So as a member-at-large, I'm the person who sends out the reminds to the society, and I also keep the NHS Instagram and the Twitter up to date and maintained.
So NHS is founded on four main pillars: service, character, scholarship, and leadership. Service is characterized by students' volunteer work in the school and in their community. It's really important that volunteers show a high level of commitment and dedication to whatever they're doing, so make sure you really emphasize that in your application. The next pillar is character. Character is basically how you hold yourself, what standard you hold yourself to. So you have to show courtesy, respect, cooperation, and you basically have to hold yourself to a really high standard of responsibility and honesty. That's super important in NHS, and it's not forgiven if you don't have a good character. The third pillar is scholarship, and scholarship is characterized by your GPA and the academic rigor of your classes that you're taking. In order to be a part of NHS, you have to have a minimum of a 3.4 weighted GPA or higher. And the last pillar of NHS is leadership, and this pillar is super important. It's the ability for you to take initiative in situations and initiative in activities that you do, and we just don't want to see that you're involved in a million activities. We want to see that you're a leader, that you take charge and you take action in whatever you're doing. So that's also super important. These four pillars are the backbone of NHS, and it's really important that you emphasize these in your application, and you really want to focus on these four things. And if you want more information about the specifics of each pillar, I highly recommend looking at the bylaws on our website. They go into further detail about what what each pillar specifically is, and it's a super helpful resource.
So NHS does a lot of community service activities, and it's a great way to engage with the Howard County community and even have fun with your friends at these events. And we also have a lot of recurring events throughout the year where we collaborate with organizations such as Grassroots, HCPSS Middle Schools, the Arthritis Foundation, and more to host regular volunteering opportunities. And we get very close with the volunteers that work there since we work with them on a regular basis. So this could be a great way to network with new volunteers and become involved outside of NHS with more volunteering opportunities. And one of the biggest events of the year for NHS is induction, and it's a ceremony that recognizes new inducted members into the society, and it usually has been happening in January the past couple of years, but we're trying to move it up right as you get accepted into NHS, so that's still to be determined though. And another huge event is WorldFest, and NHS organizes WorldFest in the spring, and it's an event that celebrates culture and community through food, fashion shows, talent shows, classes, and more. And it's a great way to explore all of the cultures and communities at Centennial, and every NHS member is involved in some way in this event, and it's a great thing to do during the spring.
So at its core, NHS is of course a community service organization, and we keep track of how much community service we do through credits, which members measure through our credit system, which is an online database we call our portal. We offer many opportunities through the portal throughout the year, so members should have several chances to fulfill all their credits and maintain their membership. To give you an idea of exactly how much service we do, one credit is approximately 4 hours of community service, and juniors are typically required to complete 6 credits throughout the year. However, since we're under emergency operations, we've waived that requirement to 5 credits to make it easier for people to maintain their membership. To give you an idea of some of the events that we do, we have some pictures from a couple years ago from our Downtown Columbia Partnership 5K. The 5K is a charity race to help fundraise money for Columbia. And charity races are a really great way for members to get their credits. They're relatively low stress and don't require a lot of background knowledge and are always a lot of fun. Another example is the Jingle Bell Run, which is a race hosted by the Arthritis Foundation. Again, in the winter, it's a really great way for people to get their credits. As you can see, they're a lot of fun, and the most important part is just for you to be enthusiastic. You don't need to have a lot of prior knowledge or expertise. The most important part is to be enthusiastic and maintain the morale of the runners, and it all supports a really great cause.
The WorldFest is a huge event. It is so big. It's put on by NHS. It's put on as a society. But to help plan this, we have a subcommittee within NHS. So that is open to any member in good standing. And they basically just help plan WorldFest, and they get all their credits done that way. And they put in a lot of work. I'm pretty sure they meet every Wednesday during Eagle time. And they pretty much just work and plan all this whole thing out. It's a huge event. It's crazy how big it is, but they make it happen for us. To help the subcommittee out, we have either our president or our vice president who leads them on that. And each NHS member is expected and required to choose a country, and they put together their own informational board about their country. So their board includes all the information about their culture, activities, games, daily life, things like that. And their board also has to include some interactive section. So it can be a game that's from their country, or it can be a food. So in this side, you can see we have some chocolate mousse in the bottom left corner, which I think my screen might be covering, so I apologize for that. And we have some sushi in the top left corner that somebody had brought from home. So those are all great options, and is really great. So NHS is just a big society that helps put on big events like WorldFest, and we hope to see you guys there.
NHS End of Year Picnic is an annual event that NHS hosts as a celebration of the successful year we've had. Unfortunately, due to coronavirus, we were not able to host it this year, but we're excited for next year.
So as a society member, you'll have to go to the society meetings, and that happens about once a month on Thursdays at 7, and they'll last about an hour. And they're like this so that you won't find as many conflicts with your schedule. We want to make this as easy as possible. We know you guys are really busy. But if you do find some sort of conflict, like a concert or a sports event, a game that you're in, you can fill out an attendance form, and then your absence will be excused if you do it a week before. And punctuality is also really important. I'm covering up the picture, but it says if you cannot be on time, then be early. This is really important. If you're like super late, then it will actually be counted as an absence, unexcused depending on the reason.
So now we get to the most important part of the presentation. What makes you eligible for NHS, and what does the application consist of? So for eligibility, we're really looking for ways that you exemplify the 4 pillars of NHS. So for example, you need to be academically eligible with a 3.4 weighted GPA. And that covers kind of our scholarship pillar. In addition, we're looking at the activities that you've been involved in at your time in high school. We want to see continuous involvement throughout your time. And with that involvement, we also want to see leadership in those activities and just really demonstrating good character, both if we need to ask your sponsor about your involvement, or just seeing through the things that you submitted that you have demonstrated good character as an individual. That's some of the things we'll be looking for in our application. So in terms of what the application actually consists of, we need a couple things. First, we just need some personal information so we can contact you about the application. We need to see a listing of extracurricular activities that you are a part of, and you'll be able to list as many on there as you want to, as are relevant to your application. We want to see community service. This is definitely a service-focused organization, so we want to see prior involvement in community service organizations. And also employment. Employment can be very valuable, especially if it's something that helps your community, or is something that you need to do for your family, or is taking a big deal of your time. Maybe you can't get to as much community service because you have a commitment to your employment. We want to see that, and we want to see your see you as a whole person in all that you are involved in. And then the last part is the essay, and there will be prompts for the essay available on the application, and you can write about those. And your essay is really you will have a chance to hear about your reflections on the 4 pillars, as well as kind of become more than a resume than the things that you were just listing on the application. We can really hear your voice as a person and use that as criteria for the application. The big change going into this year is we are no longer, for this year, requiring you to obtain signatures, in-person signatures for your events and for your essay. We feel that's just unsafe for people to be going out, running around, and asking people for signatures. So we will be asking you to provide contact information for the sponsors, and if there's something that we need to address, you should be prepared for your sponsor to be able to answer any questions about your involvement. And so we are trusting you, as we are an honor society, that you do the right thing and only list the things that you have participated in and participated in to a high degree. So that's kind of what the application is going to look like and what the eligibility for NHS is.
So in order to apply for NHS, you can find the application at our website, chsnhs.org, and then either clicking on the Apply tab up top or scrolling down to the Apply section. Once you're there, you'll see a Google Doc which you can either make a copy of or download. When you're filling out the application, make sure you fill out every single section as it tells you to, and then once you're done, submit it no later than September 1st by 11:59 p.m. You can submit it by sharing a copy of it with Mr. Riddler and Ms. Holtzman, and make sure you look at the application for more thorough instructions on how to submit.
So, application advice. You really have to treat this like a job application. It has to be neat, presented clearly, and you really want to put your best effort forward. Don't just hurry through the application. You really want to take your time and develop it and make sure that everything is perfect. And you want to focus on the pillars. You really have to focus on the activities that highlight leadership, service, scholarship, and/or character. You don't have to put down everything you've ever done in high school or in middle school. You really want to emphasize things that truly pertain to NHS because that's what really matters. And you also want to think of activities that highlight more than one pillar. So you don't want to focus on an activity that just highlights your service or just highlights your leadership. You want to focus on activities that show that you're a well-rounded person and it encompasses everything. Most importantly, you want to read the directions carefully. Read through everything. Don't miss things. Don't forget things. If the application tells you to do something, you want to do it. Just read through everything carefully because if you miss something, that does not look good. So just make sure you do that. And lastly, do not wait until the last minute to do your application. I know a lot of people put things off, and me saying this isn't going to do much, but try to do it as early as you can. You guys have the entire summer, and I highly recommend starting as soon as possible because it's going to go by really fast, and if you wait till the last minute, you never know what's going to happen, especially because all of this is going to be electronically submitted. You don't want to take any chances, so I highly recommend getting it done as soon as possible and just reaching out to us if you aren't sure about something. So give yourself plenty of time to do the application.
Alright, so pull out your calendars because these are some really important dates to keep in mind. The application deadline is on September 1st, new member meeting on October 22nd, full society meeting November 19th, induction is still to be determined, World Fest on April 22nd. Please keep in mind that all of these dates are subject to change based on any school closings or any updates that we may have.
Lastly, thank you so much for listening. If we didn't answer all of your questions, feel free to email our email address, or you can just ask any of the board members or the advisors. So thank you so much.